Hey, Flooring Pros, Jerry Levinson here. And I was talking to Shane, my son, the other day, and talking about how business is. He's like, man, it really seems like people are getting so many estimates these days. Went out the other day and somebody was getting 5 estimates, trying to get the best price. And it just seems like everybody's trying to get the best price. And it really got me thinking. I mean, I've been in business for 30, 35 years now. Uh, for 20 years in window coverings and then doing flooring for many years, and came across many different economies and many different challenges. And I was trying to think if I have ever felt compelled to drop my prices because the economy was so challenging, and it was a unique time. So I mean, we had 9/11, we had where after 9/11, I mean, business dropped dramatically. And then we had 2008 and 9, worst economy of our lifetime. So there's all these times where we had challenges where it just seemed like there's no customers out there, and the ones that are out there are getting multiple bids. So do you lower your prices and try to buy business? I don't think that's the right way to go, and I want to talk to you guys about how I would handle that differently. So we talk about how you are different. How are you unique? Why would someone choose you over another company? So somebody's getting multiple quotes, and you're going to see 50/40 up here a lot. So what that 50/40 stands for is, at the end of the day, our goal is 50% closing rate at a 40% margin. And we're talking mostly residential retail. Okay, so if you're not at a 50% closing rate, then how can we get you up there? If you're not at a 40% margin, how do we get you up there? Because that's doable. It's better to do those numbers, but those numbers would be great. So how is it that we get customers to choose us over our competition? So we have better quality products. That doesn't really do the trick, because the assumption is that they don't have better quality or equal quality to yours. That might not necessarily be true. Having better service, that's not really a unique proposition, because everybody's going to claim they have better service. Nobody's going to come in and say, our prices are so much lower, but our guys don't show up on time and we don't have very good service. So you're going up against credible people. We do a better job installing. Again, nobody's going into an appointment saying, our prices are lower, but we're not as good as these guys. Okay, we don't have as good a reputation or as many 5-star reviews. Your competition isn't representing themselves the way that you think about them, that you are better, you're clearly more knowledgeable, and the other guy's a putz. Okay, they're not representing themselves that way. We've been around longer and have a better reputation. We have better prices on like products. Well, it's not an apples to apples comparison. Are they making that kind of comparison? Are you relying on that? Are you relying on them to be fair and compare apples to apples, like quality products, like quality service? I don't think you can rely on that. That's not a very reliable resource for you. That's not a reliable way to earn business over your competition. So again, I hope you guys are liking the content. Like and subscribe to these videos. Hate and subscribe to these videos, that's fine. But share them to people that you'll find them useful. All right, let's talk about the pricing trap. In 35 years, I never lowered my prices. I told you guys that. And it's a trap that you fall into. So I've heard this quote: right now, in order to close jobs and compete, I need to lower my margins, sometimes as low as 30%. And I say, careful, this is a trap. And it's very difficult to get out of that once you start going down that road. It is for you personally, and it is if you have salespeople. Boy, it's really hard if you have salespeople. But once you start believing that that's the only way they get business, to lower your prices, man, that's really hard to come back up. So it's hard to get out of that mentality and get away from that mentality shift. It- You're reacting to an economy, a blip in time, where it seems like everybody's price shopping. It seems like everybody's getting quotes. And if you react to that by lowering your prices, that's going to be disastrous, because in order for you to just hit your break even, you're going to have to do so much more business just to break even and not even become profitable. So how much more work are you willing to do to make the same amount of money that you made in the past? That's not the direction we want to go in. If you're running a proper business, ideally it would be good if you were doing less work and becoming more profitable. As you grow your business, that's where it should be. Less work and more profitable. That's when you got a good running business. Okay, if you gotta lower the price on a job to get it, that's fine. That's not the trap. But just don't feel like this is the new normal, that I have to do this on all my jobs. And again, be careful with your salespeople having that mentality shift. So how do we overcome this challenge? This is what you do. I want to come up with some ideas for you to overcome this challenge. And first, it starts with your marketing. How are you attracting people? Do you attract flies? Is your marketing a lot of sales, specials, closeout? Are you trying to attract people by offering a low price? If all your marketing is geared towards price, 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 then you're going to attract flies. You're going to attract people that want to get a better price. You're going to attract people that are going to compare you. You know, I never want to say we're better, cheaper, faster than my competition. The reason is, if I'm better, cheaper, or faster, then what I'm telling them is they have a choice between me and somebody else. I'd rather not give them that choice. I'd rather say, we're going to give you a fantastic experience. You're going to have beautiful new floors. We can get it done in this period of time. And the selection is fantastic. It's awesome. Showing certain products, showing certain things that they're going to love. So when they get to your website, what do they see? I was talking to my son about this too, and we were always the small family-owned business, no one over 5'6". That was a unique, you talk about unique selling propositions. That doesn't benefit the customer at all, but it helped make them want to do business with us. I told them there was 2 times when I had customers where I didn't show up for the appointment. Made a mistake, I didn't show up. Something got messed up in my Google Calendar, and those customers had called me back. And I asked him, I said, it's kind of funny. If somebody had done that to me, there's no way I'd call them back out and have them back out. I'd call somebody else. I'd be pissed. They said, well, we liked your ad so much, both customers, we liked your ad so much. I just thought you'd be a good, honest person and trustworthy to do business with. So they responded. So many people talked about when my salesperson would come to the door, you're not 5'6". They would make a smart ass comment about the ad. Another thing that we used to offer is free snow shoveling in Arizona, 117 degrees yesterday. And when they would say, are you the only ones, what is this about free snow shoveling? It doesn't snow here. And I'd say, well, yeah, you would think more people would offer to do it then. So you never explain the joke. But I would have customers call up and say, hey, will you come out and shovel my walks? If they made that comment to me, it was 100% closing rate. If they're engaging with me with a smart ass comment, they already like me, they already trust me, and they already want to do business with me. So finding some unique ways to get them to want to do business with you and not get multiple quotes, just to feel comfortable about coming in, doing business with you, and not feel like they have to get several estimates and base that on price. So if you're doing your marketing the right way, that'll help greatly in that. a client I have below, guy's out in Florida, beautiful, guy and his wife, great picture, you know, you're doing business with them. And that makes people feel much more comfortable. They can see him when he comes out. It just adds to the credibility that the same guy on the photo is the guy coming out. Now, even if you have salespeople and you're the owner, you and your wife, or just you, having that photo up there is a lot of credibility. People like doing business with people, not companies. So you got to ask yourself, how are you different? When I go to the websites, so many websites are exactly the same thing. I can't tell one website from the other because they don't have anything that distinguishes themselves. We got one client that wants to use her dog. Well, good. Let's dress up the dog and give it some personality and put the dog's name on there. And one time she had the dog alone. Well, the dog alone doesn't work necessarily. You got to give it a name and a personality. And then we can also say that, this dog speaks to them. So let's say the dog's name is Gary. Gary says, blah, 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 about your flooring, about the dog can give advice. You can have a mascot, something. You got to have some image. You got to have personality to your website. Otherwise, you're just like everybody else, and there's nothing to distinguish you from somebody else. In your About Us page, does it say, well, we believe in offering great quality service and products, and we take great care of our customers, and we have the most outstanding blah, 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 blah. It says the same damn thing that every other website says. And I can't tell you how many, I go to people's websites and I go to the About Us section, and everything says the same thing. You could just change the name of the company and you wouldn't know which company you were at. And as many clients as I've worked with and people I've talked to, everybody's got an interesting story to tell. What got you into the business? Why do you live where you live? How many kids do you have? What do you guys like to do for fun? What do you like about your city, your town, your area? What do you like about this job? What's the enjoyment? It's about you. It's not, well, we believe in offering the highest quality, service and products around. Again, if you can tell them a personal story about you, something about us. I've adopted kids, we adopted a child from Vietnam. Interesting stories that people can relate to. So if I got a customer that adopted kids, they were compelled to do business with us. Same religion, same politics. You're not always marketing that stuff. People say don't market religion and politics, but it can come up in sales because you're looking to make a connection. I've always said I want people to buy from us when it has nothing to do with product, price, or service. It had to be something else. So that had to do with making the connection. You can do that both in your marketing and definitely in your sales. We'll get into that in a second. But the small family-owned business, no one over 5'6". I mean, if people were short, if they were under 5'6", man, we probably sold to more short people than anybody else. So just made that connection with people. And again, the free snow shoveling worked fantastic because people that would come, we have a lot of snowbirds here, so they're coming out of the snow. So again, they relate, and they'll tell us stories that they moved here and they brought their snow shovel with them. So they get it open and it's like, what are we going to do with that? Next, what is your sales approach? You've got to engage them like nobody else can. All right. And again, you're going to see it 50-40 rule. What's the 50-40 rule? How do we get a 50% closing rate and a 40% margin? How much work is it to do business with you? And I like to talk to customers, my clients, the flooring dealers, you guys, about how it is that people buy from you. So what is all the work I have to do business with you? Think about this. Is it work to do business with you, or is it easy to do business with you? Do I have to jump through a lot of hoops? Well, you got to come to my showroom first, or I'll come out there and then I've got to have my measure guy come out there. or we got to select between different products. Are you bringing products to their house? How much work are you going to make them do? What if they have to move furniture? Are you going to make them move their own furniture? Are you going to make them hire somebody else? What if they need a plumber for the job? Are you assisting them? Are you guys going to do the plumbing, or are you going to assist them with that? So if you don't do the plumbing, do you have a guy that they can call that will take care of them? If they have a pool table they have to move, are you going to make them find the pool table company, or do you have a guy that they're going to use? How much work is it to do business with you? How many more phone calls or how many more people do they have to hire to get that flooring installed? So how willing are you to quickly give a customer an idea of what they're going to spend? What's their budget? We're trying some different things out here, and I really think that the quicker you give them a budget price, the quicker you give them an idea of what they're going to spend. When they make the phone call initially, you can talk about that. You can get into that about what they should budget for this project. Now, what's going to happen is if you tell them, or if it's on your website, what they should be budgeting for their project, especially if you go with the system that I've laid out, it's going to be high, it's going to be expensive. So what are they going to do? They're going to call the competition. What's the competition going to say? They're going to say, well, we need to come out to give you an estimate. We can't just give it to you over the phone. I don't know how those other people do it. I don't know how they give it without seeing the job. Okay, that's a frustrating experience for a customer. They're just trying to get some information. And if you're not willing to give them, it doesn't have to be an accurate price, but if you're not willing to give them an idea of what it's going to be, I'd rather go with a company that gives me some information versus a company that makes me jump through hoops to get information. I can't stand these companies that say, well, give us your email address and we'll give you the information. Really? Do I have to give up all my information to get anything from you? I just can't call you and engage with you. So how difficult are you making it for them? When you engage with your customers, do you want to educate them, or do you want to get excited for them in their project? You should be talking to them like a friend. If a friend was doing something, you would be interested in the materials they were doing, what they were tearing out, why they're working on this now, when are they wanting to get it done. You would talk to your friend differently than you talk to a client. We should be talking to them like they're our friend, and we should get excited for them. It's kind of a cool thing. It's like buying a new car. So if we're more worried about educating them, they need to know this. If you think that they need to know things before they buy, and you're more concerned about telling them that stuff than you are interested in them and their project, you're not going to connect with them as well. It's okay to educate them, but pick your place where you want to do it. First, you need to learn about them, and then you need permission to educate them. You need to ask them if they're open to other ideas, because if you just bowl over them, you know what, that's not a good project. I wouldn't do laminate in there. You're not going to like that. Then they're going to defend their position. But if you say, hey, doing laminate in the basement, let me ask you a question. Are you open to any other ideas? Or are you dead set on doing laminate? They will tell you yes every time. The way you engage them is going to matter. And again, what we're trying to do is prevent them from getting multiple quotes. We want to engage with them in a way to prevent them from feeling like they got to go to different places. And again, I have offer free snow shoveling. That was something I told you we offered. Your overall goal is the 50-40. Guys, if you'd like to get a free one-on-one discovery call, just go to jerrylevinson.com. And what we're going to do is talk about what opportunities that you have. It's like, how can we dramatically improve your marketing and messaging? I've seen a lot of stuff that's really bad, but it's not difficult to change. So what are some of the things that we can do to change your marketing dramatically and help this customer experience? How can we raise your closing rates? If you're closing at a 25-30% clip, we got to get this up to 40. up to 50. You know, how do we raise that closing rate? How can we raise your prices? I guarantee you everybody can raise their prices even in this economy. It's the way you present and the way you sell. How can we make it easier for your salespeople to sell? How can we make it easier for them to give a price? A lot of times people have a complicated process and they make it hard to give a price because the information that's required is is complicated. So a lot of people want to take all that information back to email a quote. If we make it easier for the salespeople to give a price, then they can focus on decorating and having fun with the customer. And the price is the price. It's as easy as scanning a barcode for a cashier. It should be almost that easy for you guys to give a price so your focus can be on design and decorating. How can we make it easier for your customers to make a buying decision? So giving them the option, there's no magical closing line that you're going to use to get them to buy. It's that whole process of selling that makes it easy to buy from you, makes them want to buy from you. And my goal is always this: I want to be more expensive and they choose us anyway. You know, I'm not looking to beat my competition's price. I'm looking to beat my competition with higher prices. How do we get you to that 50-40? And guys, it's a 50-40 rule. It's a 50% closing rate, 40% margins. The other 50% cares about price. The other 50% got a much lower price. The other 50% went with somebody else. 20% of those people didn't do anything at all. So don't worry and get caught up on the 50% that didn't go with you. Let's get the 50% at a 40% margin and improve our numbers constantly, improve our pricing, so we're more profitable. Also, so we can pay our installers more money. We can pay our salespeople better. We can pay our suppliers quicker and on time. You know, when you can pay your suppliers quicker, you make more money. So get that cash flow working good. And we got systems and processes and everything that's going to help you profit now in the flooring industry. That was an interesting close. I'm closing it right now. You need a good tagline like that. Okay, guys, give me a call. Let's work together.